Fast, focused, and fearless. Here's everything you need to know this rush hour of September 9, Monday. I'm Riza Diaz. Jump-starting today's rush with several areas in northern and central Luzon declaring class suspensions today due to bad weather. Classes in all levels are suspended in parts of La Union. Now, these include the towns of Aringay, Buknotan, Bagulin, Balawan, Bangar, Luna, Pugo, San Fernando, San Juan, Santol, Supiden, and Tubao. Now, same goes for Subic, Zambales, and some towns in Pangasinan. These are Aguilar, Bolinao, Burgos, Labrador, Mabini, and Urbistondo. Now, other parts of Pangasinan also have no classes today, but only in preschool to high school. These include Agno, Alaminos, Anda, Binmalay, Bugalyon, Calasiao, Dasol, Dagupan, Lingayen, Mangaldan, Mangatarem, San Jacinto, and Sual. Now, meanwhile, preschool to high school classes in Agoo, Rosario, and Santo Tomas in La Union are suspended today. Likewise, in some parts of Benguet, including Itogon, Kibungan, Mankayan, and Tublay, and St. Paul's Academy of Sayangan in Atok. But only preschool to elementary classes are suspended in the rest of Benguet. Now, and only preschool classes are suspended in San Carlos City in Pangasinan. Today's bad weather is not because of a tropical storm, but because of the effects of habagat. Now, to give us more on this, we have with us Benny Estareja on the line from the Pag-asa Weather Forecasting Center. Benny, good morning.
Good morning, Riza, and to all the viewers.
Benny, the rain that our brothers and sisters are experiencing in northern and central Luzon is due to the effect of the habagat. Is that correct?
Yes, it's mainly due to southwest monsoon.
Okay, so generally, what is the weather looking like for today?
For today, we're seeing parts of northern and central Luzon and even Metro Manila and Rizal to have cloudy skies with scattered rains and thunderstorms due to habagat. That's why there's a threat of flash floods or landslides. For the rest of the country, they will experience partly cloudy to cloudy skies with some localized thunderstorms.
Are we looking into any other weather disturbances?
Yes, we're seeing a weather disturbance, particularly a low-pressure area outside the Philippine area of responsibility, and it was last located at around 1,780 kilometers east of southern Luzon, and it may enter our PAR by Wednesday.
All right, thank you. That was Pag-asa weather forecaster Benny Estareja. Let's fast break now to Sports Rush. Gilas Pilipinas bows out of the FIBA World Cup without a single victory. The national team succumbed to Iran 95-75 in the last assignment at the Wu Kesong Arena on Sunday night. Now, Carlo Pamintuan has the full report.
Playing in their last game here in China, Gilas Pilipinas was hoping that going up against an opponent they know would give them at least a sweet ending to what has been a tough stint in the 2019 FIBA Basketball World Cup.
Okay, it's our last game for this World Cup, guys. Okay, so make the most out of it.
But the Philippine team was also expecting Iran to give it their all in the game as they were aiming for an Olympic spot. Iran needed to win and needed to win big to surge ahead of host team China. Head coach Yang Yao was hopeful that the three-point shots would finally fall for Gilas, and that is exactly what happened in the first quarter, with Gabe Norwood even scoring his first basket of the entire competition. However, Iran slowly took over. With fouls mounting against Gilas, the bigger Iranians got going. In the fourth and final period, Robert Bolick did his best to fight back for the Philippines as Andre Blach was ejected due to two technical fouls. But it would not nearly be enough as Iran celebrated their entry into the 2020 Tokyo Olympics on the World Cup floor. Now comes the hard part for Philippine basketball as it is time to pick up the pieces and start planning for 2023.
Nagpapasalamat ako sa lahat ng mga kababayan natin na kahit na nahirapan tayo, natalo tayo, nag-struggle tayo, nandyan pa rin sila na sumusuporta pa rin. Palagay ko sila yung sila yung unang-unang iniisip namin pagka kami naglalaro, pagka kami natatalo, iniisip namin daming nalungkot. So sa inyo po na nagdasal, sa inyo po na nagbigay ng inyong mga positive thoughts and encouragement, maraming salamat po sa inyo. Susubukan po natin na mapagbuti pa sa susunod.
From Beijing, China, Carlo Pamintuan, We Are One News.
President Duterte claims to be at odds. Why is there a need to celebrate 500 years of Christianity in the country when it brings back deep wounds from the colonial period? Jenny Dongon has the story.
President Duterte took another swipe at the country's dominant religion, this time questioning the need to celebrate the 500th anniversary of Christianity in the Philippines, which will take place in 2021. During a speech in Naga City, Cebu on Friday, Duterte recalled the 300 years of Spanish colonialism, which he says Catholicism is a reminder of.
Nganong mohatag magbuo og selebrasyon sa pag-abot sa mga panyaga Espanyol dili. Because they brought the cross religion, onya mga kanyon, mga pusil, yun ang mga natibo nga rin ato padlo.
Duterte also blamed the Spanish regime for institutionalizing feudal land system in the Philippines, which favored rich and powerful clans.
They came to this country as imperialists, dili man ta Espanyol, and they subjugated us for 300 years. Sakit ko na mga yuta, gihatag nila sa mga insulares. Ang mga Espanyol nga wala na mobalik sa Espanya. Wala matisoy ng mga laguna.
Members of Catholic Church hits back on Duterte's latest comments, saying native Filipinos genuinely embraced Christianity, adopting the religion even after the end of Spanish rule. Back in June, several bishops had already said that they will push through with celebrating the 500th year of Christianity in the country, even without the president's support. In many occasions, Duterte has spoken about corruption and sexual abuse in the Catholic Church, even going so far as to brand Catholicism as a bad religion. For News 5, Jenny Dongon, We Are One News.
Moving on to other headlines. After President Duterte ordered the rearrest of convicts who benefited from the GCTA law, let's take a look at how many prisoners have voluntarily surrendered to authorities. Now, as of 6 p.m. on Sunday, a total of 118 convicts have surrendered to the PNP. Region 2 has the most number of surrenderers at 36. But there hasn't been any voluntary surrenderers in Regions 1, 9, 11, and 12, and in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region. Now, following the surge of voluntary surrenders over the weekend, the DILG renewed calls to those who were released under the GCTA law to voluntarily surrender to the nearest police station or direct to the Bucor. Now, the agency reminded the convicts that after the lapse of the 15-day period of voluntary surrender that started on September 4, those who haven't given themselves up will be subject to a manhunt by the PNP's special tracker teams. DILG Secretary Eduardo Año also assured the public that those who will be found to have truly qualified for the early release will be set free immediately. But for now, they must remain in the custody of the Corrections Bureau. A former Pasig City judge is backing the calls of the rearrest of convicts released through the Good Conduct Time Allowance Law. Harriet Demetriou, who sentenced former Calauan Mayor Antonio Sanchez to life imprisonment, says that if the release has been indeed illegal, then it's only right for the convicts to surrender and for the police to arrest them if they refuse to do so. Demetriou says, however, that she has full trust on the Justice Department and the move to review the GCTA law.
Halimbawa, kung si Sanchez pinalaya, illegal yung release niya, di pwede siyang arrestuin because the release was illegal and therefore he's not entitled to a court order.
Meanwhile, the Senate has also been busy in investigating released heinous crimes convicts through the GCTA, the timing of which coincides with the death of Bucor official Ruperto Traya Jr. Now, a Senate witness said Traya, who was gunned down last month, was in charge of processing good time conduct credits for prisoners. One of Traya's co-workers believed the slain official was not involved in corruption inside the Bucor, but that his work puts him in a difficult position.
Kasi ang kukulit nga ng mga tao. Tulad yan, pag makaupo ka doon, makikimakasasala ka kasi ang kukulit, bibigyan ka ng ganito. Mapapressure ka kasi ang daming hingi ng tulong sa'yo. Makukulit talaga ang mga dalaw, ang mga preso para unahin sila. Hindi sila makahintay.
The Presidential Anti-Corruption Commission is bent on going after everyone involved in the illegal release of heinous crimes convicts on the basis of good conduct. Now, everyone, save for fired Bucor Chief Nick Faldon and Senator Bato de la Rosa. PACC says they have no jurisdiction over the two officials. The agency, though, is setting its eyes on former DILG Secretary Mar Rojas and Senator Laila de Lima, who was responsible for crafting the IRR for the now controversial GCTA law.
Sila po ang nag-craft at nag-issue at nagpa-publish ng Implementing Rules and Regulation of Republic Act 10592 or ng GCTA law. So sino ba ang may kasalanan? E di sila, yung kanilang maling IRR ang sinunod.
Defective.
Hindi lang defective. It is really a deviation from what the law says.
And here are the biggest stories from the dailies. The Senate investigation on alleged good conduct time allowance for sale resumes today. Filipino Star ngayon reports that a new witness may be present in today's Blue Ribbon Committee. Now, last week, a witness, Yolanda Camilon, came forward claiming that she was being charged 50,000 pesos in exchange for the early release of his husband from prison. Now, despite facing another slew of controversy, ex-Bucor Chief Faldon may get another post if President Duterte orders it. Philippine Star quotes Palace spokesman Sal Panelo in saying that Duterte remains convinced Faldon has a clean record amid the controversy he is currently in. Malacanang insists Faldon was fired for not following orders and not for corruption during his term as Bucor head. Life sentences without parole to extremely ruthless criminals. That's what Cebu Representative Eduardo Gilas seeks to pass in Congress following the issue of the GCTA law implementation. Gilas tells the Freeman that this penalty will satisfy the demands of justice and to protect the general public from dangerous criminals. Now, at present, the maximum penalty for convicted criminals is reclusion perpetua or only 30 to 40 years in prison with the option of early release through the GCTA after 15 to 20 years. An alleged female suicide bomber was killed in an attack on a military camp in Indanan, Sulu on Sunday. At 5:45 in the evening, the attacker detonated an improvised explosive device at the entrance of the Army's 35th Infantry Battalion camp. Now, the bomber was also described as a foreign-looking woman in abaya attire and was the lone fatality in the attack. No soldier or civilian was hurt. Authorities are now calling on Suluanons to remain vigilant and to report suspicious items and personalities immediately. President Duterte says he will not allow Moros to be oppressed here in the country. But at the same time, the president says he will not tolerate any more land disputes and conflicts in Mindanao. Gemma Vansenia has the details.
During the inauguration ceremony of the Dusit Tani Grand Ballroom at the Dusit Dito Hotel in Davao City, the president proudly discussed the effects of the Bangsamoro Organic Law in Mindanao. In his speech, Duterte says BOL can solve the disputes in central Mindanao, except for the ever-present New People's Army.
The NPAs remains to be a big problem. I just hope that we'll be able to do something about it before my term ends. Yun lang, you have to consider the
law and order of Mindanao. I do not recommend any new economic activity or investment on the western side, especially in the islands there. I do not think that it would be prudent for you to consider it.
Duterte also mentioned a former cabinet member who promised to solve the rice crisis in the country.
I mean, it's quite a long shot, but maybe I come now the mid-year crisis. Walang bigas. And I had to, disregard the Rice Council, and I told the NFA at that time. It was a good one. Misunderstood lang.
Duterte also led the decommissioning of MILF combatants and weapons in Sultan Kudarat. Over 900 high-powered firearms were turned over by the MILF to the independent decommissioning body, while more than 1,000 members of the Bangsamoro Islamic Armed Forces underwent the process. In turn, they received 100,000 pesos and other socio-economic benefits from the government. There, the chief executive also promised the administration's continued support in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region.
Let us set aside our differences and avoid further armed conflict. Do not be sad na ang armas ninyo binigay ninyo sa gobyerno. Kasi kayo gobyerno na. Kung kailangan talaga ninyo ng armas para idepensa ninyo ang gobyerno dito sa barn, walang problema, bigyan ko kayo mas bago.
Duterte added that he will not allow oppression among Moros and wanted to put a stop to territorial disputes within the region.
You will be treated equally as just like any other Filipino in this country. At walang agawa na. I will not allow it. No more expansion, no more cheating. Wala nang agawan ng lupa. Let us be fair
And with the help of the region's natural resources, Duterte hopes to be able to improve the lives of Moros.
So do your best. Try to do something of exploiting the natural resource. It's very rich. At hanapin na ninyo yung oil. Kasi kung makita ninyo, para na kayong mga Arabo, mga Sakyan, mga Kadilak, pero huwag ninyong kalimutan yung ibang Malay.
For News 5, Jem Avancenia, we are One News.
And that's how today is shaping up to be. Join us again next time for another round of Rush. I'm Riza Diaz. We are One News.